begins today in our nation's capital, where the news of the attack of the Pottsylvania Creeper has just hit the streets.
X-ray plant captures town!
Beats our state militia in 2-hour battle!
Man-eating plant still at large!
Well, Chauncey, that's what I call news.
What's that, Edgar?
Look here. Vegetable bites, man.
In the White House, a cabinet meeting was already in progress. Its main subject, how to deal with the Pottsylvania Creeper.
Secretary of State, I say it's a job for agriculture. It's a plant growing in the ground, isn't it?
Of course. That's why it's a job for the Interior Department.
I hear the plant just grew over a state line. That makes it a Commerce Department case.
But it's attacking the country. I think it's a job for the Defense Department.
Nope.
Why not?
It's not a defense plant.
The cabinet wasn't the only group perturbed. All over the country, people began to view plants and flowers with suspicion. The city of Squawkum, Connecticut, started obedience schools for houseplants.
Down, sir! Down, I say!
The North Dakota legislature passed a law ordering all snapdragons and dandelions to be muzzled. And in Mount Vernon...
George, did you chop down my cherry tree?
I cannot tell a lie, Father. It pulled a knife on me.
Meanwhile, back in Frostbite Falls, the man-eating Pottsylvania Creeper had just about taken over the town. Its ravenous branches grew into every house, into every barn, into every chicken coop. And as it grew, its evil blossoms took on more and more of a well-fed smile.
Well, at least it doesn't eat just people.
That's better.
Isn't it?
Rock! That means it might also like to munch a moose and swallow a squirrel.
But the absolute worst happened when the Pottsylvania Creeper whipped its branches and leaves into a great green tower.
Golly, Bullwinkle, that looks just like a missile.
Yes, the brainy squirrel had guessed it. With a roar, the green leafy missile sailed off the stem and into the air.
Now, why do you suppose it does that?
Just showing off, I bet.
Alas, Bullwinkle was wrong again, for as the leafy projectile reached its apex, it exploded.
Hooray!
No, Bullwinkle, look!
Oh, my stars and body, that missile threw out thousands and thousands of little leafy parachutes.
And every one of them has a seed on it.
Boris, that means there will be thousands of Pottsylvania Creepers all over the country.
Makes your blood run colder, doesn't it?
Yes, the Minnesota breeze was scattering thousands of creeper seeds in a wider and wider area.
Bullwinkle, there's only one thing to do.
Move to Canada!
No, somebody's got to catch those seeds.
Impossible!
Maybe, but I got to try.
I'm with you, Rock.
Helly!
Oop!
And the plucky squirrel zoomed upward and began gathering up the tiny parachutes.
It's working, Bullwinkle, it's working.
Little did Rocky realize that at that moment he was in the crosshairs of a telescopic sight on a rifle in the hands of fearless leader himself.
Very well, Badenoff. Pin another medal on me.
What kind, fearless leader?
Sharpshooter.
Gee, was that the shot heard around the network? The one that finally got Rocky?
Don't ask. Pin.
We'll find out next time in It's Only a Flesh Wound or Better Lead Than Dead.
And now it's time.
Time for that jolly juggler, Bullwinkle.
Oh, dear.
3 at once. 1, 2.
And now here's a feature you're sure to like.
Oh, by George, that's a good one.
What's so funny, Pop?
Oh, it's you, Junior. Well, I'm laughing at a joke, that's all.
Somebody came by and told you a joke, huh?
No, nobody came by. I heard the joke 2 years ago.
And you're still laughing at it?
Well, I just got the punchline, that's it right there.
Look, I don't want to sound disrespectful, Dad, but aren't you a little slow? I mean, 2 years...
Now, wait a minute, son, wait a minute. You're forgetting one of my most popular proverbs. He who laughs last laughs best.
I smell a fable coming up.
Which reminds me of a fable.
Hey, you see?
Not too far away and not too close either, there was a desert, the driest, most uninhabited piece of real estate you ever saw. Outside of the sand, the only thing that moved was 2 jackrabbits who were prospecting for gold.
Hey, look at that, Charlie. You know what that is? That is high-grade dirt.
Date?
Dirt. But don't you worry, old pal. One of these days we'll strike it rich. Come on, let's get some water.
The only wet spot in the entire desert was a small outdoor restaurant operated by an industrious mule. The only thing the mule sold was water, which he procured from a nearby well.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. And how are we today?
We are hot and dry.
So give us each a pitcher of water.
I would like to comply very much with your wishes, but so far you have drunk 80 pitchers of water and you haven't paid me a cent.
Look, we told you we'd pay you when we hit gold, didn't we? Besides, Charlie has got a present for you.
He has? Oh, well, that's different. Here's your water. Where's my present?
Here.
He fell for it. He fell for it. Hey, that was a good one, Charlie.
And the following day found the jackrabbits back on the job. And just like the day before, they eventually wound up at the mule's restaurant.
No, I regret to say you get no water unless you pay for it.
Look, Mule. Charlie's awful sorry about the cigar joke yesterday. Ain't you, Charlie?
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, to make up for it, I went into town. I bought you a real good one. Here.
Well, I suppose it would be silly of me to hold a grudge. Very well. You can have your water today. Are you sure this cigar is good?
It's good, all right. Good and powerful.
You did it, Charlie. You did it. You went and fooled them again.
Now, on the following day, a very strange thing happened. Acting on a hunch, the 2 jackrabbits took a sample of dirt into the assayer's office and were told it contained not only gold, but silver, uranium, and even lanolin. And they were rich.
That's right, Mule. Me and Charlie are billionaires.
Here, have a cigar.
No, you don't.
Look. Flam and me are leaving for France. And before we go, we thought we'd try and make up for all the nasty tricks we played on you.
No cigars, please. Just pay me the money you owe.
Mule, you hurt me, honest.
Oh, very well. But I warn you. Say, this is good.
I told you. Well, Flam, let's go.
You know, I'm kind of proud of you, Charlie. For a minute there, I thought you was going to give that mule another exploding cigar.
Oh, fun's fun, Flam, but after all...
Well, sir, no one can have more fun in Paris than 2 jackrabbits, especially if they're rich.
Ah, this is what I call real living. By the way, how long have we been here?
2 years and 11 days.
Ah, this is living all right.
Sure is. Only we better go a little easier on our money.
How much have we got left?
$1.50.
Well, the spree was over. There was nothing left to do but to return to the desert and dig for more gold.
This is hard work. Let's quit and get some water.
Nice to see you, Mule. By the way, I brought you a present all the way from Paris. Here.
The mule took one look at the cigar and promptly headed for parts unknown. As for the jackrabbits, they decided to get their own water. But can you imagine their surprise at finding the well empty?
Hey, Mule, come back.
Let us out of here.
So the mule had the last laugh after all. And that's why I say, he who laughs last, laughs best.
Gee, that's a swell fable, Pop. And a pretty good moral, too.
Yeah, only a pretty good one?
Well, I can think of a better one.
All right, let's have it.
You never miss the waiter till the well runs dry.
You never did. Oh, Junior.
And now, here for all you men of letters is Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, mailmen! Today's dissertation is subtitled, How to Escape from Devil's Island and Get Away from It All. Supposing you were incarcerated on Devil's Island, and supposing further still you had served 10 years out of your 30-day sentence, you would want out. And this is how you would do it. First, you would put on your bathing suit, then walk out of your cell and go directly to the warden, who is standing on the edge of a high cliff.
Good morning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good morning to you, merciless jailkeeper. For my recreation period today, I am going to swim to the mainland. Having completely pulled the wool over his eyeballs, you make the leap, and you're on your way out. Fortunately, so is the tide. After returning to Devil's Island, they put you where they put all the incorrigibles, in the kitchen.
You going to peel potatoes till they're coming out of your ears?
This should give you an idea. Putting a potato in each ear, you jump into a sack and await shipment to a foreign port. Of course, there is always the danger they are having potato soup for dinner.
Whoever peeled these spuds did crummy job.
I'm doing the best I can. And that is how you escape from Devil's Island.
But Mr. Know-It-all, you didn't get out.
I most certainly did, by joining the baseball team.
And that's how you escaped.
Sure. 3 strikes and you're out.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
While the great mass of Canadian people were living with a certain amount of tranquility in the upper, lower, northwest, east region of Canada, a devilish plan was being hatched by that arch-villain, Snidely Whiplash.
A plan, Homer, that will give us complete freedom to do the nasty little things we do.
And they're nasty.
Well, I'm going to print a fake newspaper reporting that I, Snidely Whiplash, am Dudley Do-Right's younger brother.
Younger?
Well, of course, you wouldn't expect me to say I was his older brother, would you? And Dudley, being such a sentimental fool, we'll be able to do all the mischief we want to. That's the Canadian way.
In a short time, Whiplash had put his evil scheme to work.
There, that ought to do the trick.
So Homer, disguised as a newsboy, rode off to the RCMP camp to deliver the paper to Dudley.
Paper, mister?
I say, that was about the ugliest newsboy I've ever seen. I'll just catch a quick look before I give it to the inspector. I'd always like to see how Renfrew is making out. What? I can't believe it, but it's in the paper. It must be true. Snidely Whiplash found to be Dudley Do-Right's younger brother.
Dudley Do-Right, get in here.
Oh, yes, sir, Inspector, and have I got news. Wait till you hear this, Inspector.
Later, Dudley, what I want to talk to you about is a man so sneaky, deceitful, and downright rotten that it disgusts me to mention his name. You know who that man is, Do-Right?
Is it Sandy Simpson who runs that shady ice cream parlor? I saw him the other day, sir. And
Of course it isn't Simpson. It's Snidely Whiplash.
You mean that clean-cut chap?
Are you feeling all right, Dudley?
Straightforward eyes, a firm chin, and just a hint of dimples around his cupid bow mouth?
That's enough, Dudley. I want you to bring that sneaky snake in, do you hear? And on the double.
The next day, Snidely was preparing to blow up the hotel when...
Baby brother!
Hiya, Dudley.
Oh, you naughty boy. I don't know how to tell you this, but blowing up hotels isn't worthy of a Do-Right. You see, besides being your big brother, I'm also a Canadian Mountie. So you see, I have to take you to see Inspector Fenwick.
You did it, Dudley. You brought in that loathsome, repulsive, obnoxious...
Now, just a doggone minute there. Sir, I won't have you talking about my baby brother that way.
Your what?
Go on, kick him, beat him. Don't you realize that all his life he's been kicked and beaten emotionally? And it's all my fault.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I'm quitting the force, Inspector, because I've learned blood is thicker than water.
So Dudley decided to give Snidely the one thing he'd been denied in his childhood, mother love. First, he dressed him in a Lord Fauntleroy suit.
Now we'll have to do something about this shack. There now, did you wash behind your ears? Let me see.
Come on now, Dudley, a joke's a joke.
All right, you can run out and play, but remember, I'll be watching you, and if I see you with that awful Homer boy, you'll have to stay indoors for a week. And no Winnie the Pooh.
Whoa-wee.
Hey, Snidely.
You remember what happened the last time Dudley saw us together?
Yeah, you had to stay indoors for a week.
Yeah, and no Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, he's a regular Dr. Sprock.
I'd have been better off in a stockade. There must be a way out of this.
Whom are you talking to whom, baby brother?
Nobody, big brother Dudley.
Listen, Homer, you've got to print a retraction. Say the whole thing was a mistake, that I'm not his brother after all. It's the only way out of this mess.
Okay, baby.
And don't call me baby brother.
Ah, the evening paper. Just to see how Renfrew's getting along.
Aren't you going to read the front page, Dudley?
Oh, no, I've stopped reading the front page. Those headlines are too depressing.
Curses foiled again.
But realizing that the RCMP camp could no longer do without Dudley Do-Right, the inspector's daughter Nell went to see Dudley and try to bring him back.
Dudley Do-Right, the whole RCMP camp misses you. Why don't you come back?
How can I, Nell? I've got responsibilities, but you could do one thing for me.
What is that?
Give my horse these lumps of sugar. Here, I'll wrap them in this paper.
But as Dudley started to rap, he started to read.
Snidely Whiplash and Dudley Do-Right are not brothers. Then I've been the victim of a ghastly hoax. Ooh, that does rouse my ire.
His ire roused, he waited for Snidely.
Big brother Dudley,
And so, Inspector, it turned out Snidely Whiplash wasn't my brother after all.
Well, did you bring in Snidely Whiplash?
Not entirely, Inspector, but I did bring part of him.
What part?
His mustache.
Well, Homer, I lost a big brother, but I also lost most of my upper lip.
You look terrible, boss.
Yeah, but you know something?
What?
It was worth it.
What started out as just another flower fair in Frostbite Falls has wound up as a national calamity. For Bullwinkle's entry turned out to be a man-eating plant called a Pottsylvania Creeper, which proceeded to take over the whole town. Worse, that plant released thousands of little seed-bearing parachutes, and when Rocky tried to recapture the seeds, he became a moving target for Phyllis Leader. Stunned by a near miss, Rocky plummeted downward, but at the very last instant...
Wow, that was close. What took you so long, Bullwinkle?
Had to run home and get my catcher's mitt.
Oh, boy.
Of course, by this time, the creeper seeds were flung far and wide, and soon man-eating plants were growing everywhere in the United States. In swamps, in deserts, in solid rock, even in city streets. Immediately, the nation took action.
Get me the White House.
Get me the Air Force.
Get me better homes and gardens.
But alas, nobody seemed to know how to attack the creeper. They tried weed killer. They tried flamethrowers. They tried bombs. Nothing worked. Within a few months, even the Empire State Building was nothing but an enormous planter.
Gentlemen, we'll just have to give up and abandon the country.
Well, how do you like those subversive apples, Chief?
Superb, bad enough, a triumph. And for your reward,
Yes?
I am taking you both back with me.
Back to Pottsylvania?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Couldn't we have a 5-year vacation in the salt mines instead?
Come along.
And Phyllis Leader led Boris and Natasha to a handy nearby submarine.
I always like to take the 922 sub. It gets you to Pottsylvania in time for the morning executions.
Meanwhile, back in Frostbite Falls...
It's no use, Rock. We've tried everything but kissing that thing goodnight.
That's it, Bullwinkle.
What's it?
We've tried everything but being nice to the creeper.
Being nice to a man-eating plant?
What have we got to lose?
Us?
Nevertheless, at Rocky's suggestion, people did start trying to be nice to the Pottsylvania Creepers. They watered them, they fed them vitamin pills, they tucked them in at night, they gave them birthday parties.
Happy birthday, dear Potsy!
And the plan worked. The creepers survived well under the worst of conditions, but they didn't know what to make of kind treatment. They began to wilt.
Oh, Doctor, I'm so worried it hasn't eaten anybody for days.
Mrs. Johnson, you've got a sick plant here. I'd suggest 2 weeks at some nice summer camp.
And in the office of a prominent psychiatrist...
Now tell me, when did you start having these feelings of persecution?
And when the head shrinkers begin to move in, it's the beginning of the end, Rock.
True, Pottsylvania Creepers all over the nation had nervous breakdowns, gave up, and simply shriveled on the vine. Do-gooding had doed good. Soon all that remained of the dreadful invasion of the Pottsylvania Creeper was one lonesome little seed, blowing out over the ocean, where, as fate would have it, it was sucked into the air intake of a mysterious submarine. When the sub came up in Pottsylvania and the hatch was opened, the only thing that emerged was a huge blossom.
And look, Dimitri, it's smiling.
Meanwhile, in Frostbite Falls...
Gee, Bullwinkle, where'd you get all those books on plants and flowers and trees?
I thought you'd never ask. I got them.
Oh, don't say it.
At the...
And so we come to the end of another episode of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
The Branch Library.
Oh, dear.
Hello there, poetry lovers. Today's little gem is called Sing a Song of Sixpence. Sing a Song of Sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie.
Everything okay in there?
When the pie was opened, the birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king?
Hold it, Baker. There's only 23 birds here.
23.
Your contract definitely says 24.
And?
Fine print says if you are short one bird, you short one head.
Uh-oh.
Wait, look here.
It's just an egg.
But something's inside. Look, it's the 24th blackbird.
Pretty clever, Moose.
Not at all, Your Majesty. I'm always delighted to give you the bird.